Good evening, everyone. If you don't know, you should know. My name is Rameez and I am a filmmaker and a film critic. And today's film is The Program.
You realize what we're up against? See David Walsh.
I have the money and the power to destroy you.
Can't censor this. It's too important.
I want to confess. I'm Lance Armstrong, and I will not be brought down.
The Program is a film about Lance Armstrong. I loved Lance Armstrong. He was such an inspirational figure, man. I mean, his story is what's more intriguing than the character of Lance Armstrong to me. I mean, the guy had cancer in his balls, and he beat it, and then he went on to win the Tour de France 7 times in a row. You couldn't write a better story. Then it happened. He got caught. The interview on Oprah. He got caught using PEDs, EPO, all that stuff. How much do I love Lance Armstrong? Well, I have a framed quote of Lance Armstrong hanging right next to my bed. Whenever I wake up, this is one of the first things I see. Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. I hope you guys understand the irony of this quote when it relates to Lance Armstrong. This quote reminds me of that one scene in that great film Quiz Show with Ralph Fiennes and a lawyer type person. I forget the name of the actor, but they were walking down a street and the lawyer was telling Ralph Fiennes a story about his uncle who got away with cheating on his wife for 30 years or something like that. And he finally caved in. He ended up telling his wife, and Ralph Fiennes asked a question all of us were thinking. Why did he do it? He was getting away with it. And then the lawyer tells him, it's the getting away with it part that bothered me so much. Let's get one thing out of the way. Lance Armstrong's story is more interesting than the character himself. Because he doesn't really have an interesting character. He's just an asshole. And assholes are not interesting. They are, however, very, very entertaining. Look at Donald Trump. There's a shot of Lance Armstrong, it's a close-up, which takes place right after he verbally abuses another guy on his bike. And it cuts back to him zipping up his lips, as if to say that he just roasted the other guy. That shot is so iconic, not just in the movie, but in real life. If you've seen documentaries of Lance Armstrong, and if you've seen actual footage of the Tour de France and stuff, it looks like the real thing. The recreation when it comes to cinematography is very well done. And Ben Foster is the person who plays Lance Armstrong, and he might as well be one of the most underrated actors working in the industry. He is absolutely fantastic as Lance Armstrong. Sadly, the makeup does kind of break the illusion that this is not the real Lance Armstrong, just an actor playing him, because his forehead is too gigantic. I'm sorry, Lance Armstrong's forehead doesn't look like Neocortex from Crash Bandicoot. Nevertheless, it's great work by Ben Foster. There are certain scenes where he totally nails how sociopathic Lance Armstrong was. It's a brilliant performance which is memorable because of the performance itself, not the character. As I said, Lance Armstrong is a piece of shit. There are no redeeming qualities for this guy apart from the work he did in Livestrong. So it's amazing that through the performance we kinda end up rooting for him. I wanted him to win again in 2009. It's the type of performance a lot of people say that Leonardo DiCaprio accomplished in The Wolf of Wall Street, which is a complete and blatant lie. By the end of the film, Leonardo DiCaprio was still not likable. Think about it, how can you hate a person like Lance Armstrong? This guy would do whatever it takes to win. But this film asks the question, is it worth doing whatever it takes to win when you're constantly belittling and disrespecting people and losing your social circle? It's hard to feel bad for Lance, but it's not hard to understand him. This guy got on EPO because he should have won a race which other people won because they were on drugs. This is a film about competition as well, and it also asks the question, is it really cheating when everyone's on the same drug? It's a very thoughtful discussion on the moral responsibility of competition and personal character. I loved the dramatization of this film. There are scenes where we see him rehearsing his lines, rehearsing his lies, and he's so nervous. Then he goes out and delivers those lies, and people believe them because of his alpha male personality. All that behind the scenes stuff is much more interesting than the front of the scene stuff. I remember when I was in film school, we had a psych class and we would study body language, and the subject we were studying was Bill Clinton and the Monica Lewinsky stuff. All the things in that video that we were shown is everything that Lance Armstrong did. When he's shaking his head, when he's supposedly telling a positive answer, the nervous laugh to take time to think, Lance Armstrong did all of that. It's so transparent that he was lying. The cinematography is fine when it comes to shot composition and mise-en-scene. There are a lot of dead trees in this film. One of my favorite shots is when Lance Armstrong, right after he did the EPO drug for the first time, he speeds through a valley of dead trees. It's nice little symbolism about new life in death. but the kicker when it comes to cinematography is the lighting. It's all really evenly lit, and that doesn't help the story of the film because even lighting is associated with TV, and this does at moments end up looking like a TV movie. There's not enough shadows to make this visually pleasing, and the handheld work is questionable as well. Handheld cinematography in this film would have worked really well if you had used it in the behind the scenes moments where you see Lance preparing his lies and stuff, implying nervousness into the actual press conference to see Lance delivering those lines perfectly, and it's a steady shot. It would have been an interesting contrast, and simple contrast, to be honest. They don't do that. It's all steady shots when Lance is preparing, and it's all steady when he's telling his lies in front of camera as well. It's not a very visually pleasing film. And another problem about this film is the editing. The cycling is mostly glossed over. All of his wins are shown to us through montage, which is fine for the people who know about Lance Armstrong's story, but not the people who don't know about him. Show us some action, show us some cycling, show us how intense it can get. I am going to give this film a final score of 3.5 out of 5. It's not a great film, but it is a very entertaining film, and it is a character who should be followed because of his interesting story. My name is Rameez Khan, people. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my review, please hit that subscribe button, as it is absolutely free. And I have a request for you guys. I am desperately wanting to change this background. I want to put up some pictures. I am a film reviewer. I want to do that. I'm just going to ask you to share this video if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, no need to share. I believe if you bring more traffic to this channel, I will be able to put up a background, maybe raise the video quality of my videos as well. But again, only if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, people. It means a lot. Until next time, I'll see you again. Remember to love yourselves.